Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a should you summon for both ANIS and HELM. I'm not going to make this two different videos because there's really no point to. We're just going to do it all at once. So we're going to start off with ANIS and then HELM. So if you just want to summon for HELM, just like skip to the part where HELM's her skill page is only on the screen, because that's what I'm most likely only talking about her. But make sure you guys subscribe and like. Thank you guys. We did just hit 4.8 and we're already at like 4.8 with 10 subscribers. Like, it's crazy. So subscribe and all that stuff. For when the update goes live, it actually does go live tomorrow at 5 a.m. EST. So just convert 5 a.m. EST to your time, and that's when the banner goes live. But yeah. So obviously ANIS and HELM, very, very unique characters. I think out of the two, ANIS is going to be the better pickup, but I do think HELM is going to have her uses. Now, do I think these characters are bad? Not really. I actually think, like, for what I want limited characters to be, these two are like the prime example. These are good examples. These are good examples of what I want limiteds to look like from now on, right? Literally. Make a limited like this, make limiteds like this. This is a pretty good example. So, ANIS, obviously, she really is surrounded by electric code allies, and that's very good because the electric code allies are actually pretty good in this game, right? Obviously, Haran, Guillotine, Scarlet, Masked, Isabel, right? Maiden, right? There's some Maiden, decent, right? When it comes to supporting those attackers, she's gonna be good there. Now, obviously, her best partner will be Scarlet, I think, because obviously the reload speed. Out of all the electric characters, Scarlet really benefits from having reload. And then again, for the attack buff, it is 55.31% of ANIS's max HP, or not max HP, her attack. So dupes actually do matter for this character. I know it doesn't, dupes do matter. I know you're probably not going to want to go for dupes, but they do matter, because by getting dupes, you can get more attack, and the more your attack is, the bigger the buff will be, right? So obviously, overload gear with attack rolls, and then dupes of the character, that's how you're going to maximize this, right? By getting her the most attack possible. Right, because then the higher the attack, the higher the buff, basically, right? Or at least the more the buff, right? And then the reload speed is just free. Now, in terms of what this character is doing on your team, she's essentially just an electric version of Privity, right? Basically, honestly, if you want me to be honest, I think she's just like an electric version of Privity, which isn't bad, because obviously if you have Privity and her on the same team, which you can do, every time you enter a full burst, your electric ally, being Scarlet or Guillotine or Haran, whoever your electric ally is, will be getting the reload speed buff and the attack buff from ANIS, and the reload speed and attack buff from Privity. Now, this is too much. If you have Privity on the team with ANIS, she's going to be reloading at light speed. Her burst skill gives her reload, her first skill gives her reload, and then Privity gives reload. Right? I'm not sure if reload in this game caps at 100% or if it goes beyond. That I do not know, but if it goes beyond, she's literally going to be reloading at the speed of light, right? And same as everybody else on your team, especially the electric allies. So definitely a good comp right there. There's so many teams I got to try out. The only thing is I don't own Scarlet, so I'm going to have to probably use a viewer's account when it comes to ANIS Showcase. When it comes to HELM, we'll be fine, but when it comes to ANIS Showcase, I really need to get an account with Scarlet to showcase, because that's like kind of her best partner. Now, in terms of her doing damage herself, she might do well. I don't really think she's going to be all that crazy. I mean, she could do quite well, right? Because remember, she attacks two enemies with the highest attack and deals 382% of final attack as damage. If you don't know what final attack is, well, I guess people did the testing, and final attack is like it adds, it doesn't multiply, right? Apparently, because when it says final attack, it basically means buffed up attack as well, right? So if you notice, there's a lot of characters that say increase attack or increase final attack. Final attack means, of course, what's it called? A buffed up attack and stuff like that. Regular attack is just their base attack, so keep that in mind. But I believe based on testing, the final attack is not how it's supposed to be working, so there's that. And then the damage interruption parts is good as well, right? The burst skill, my bad, not really all that crazy in my opinion. For like, because she's not gonna be the burst 3 you're using, right? I think if you're using her, you're gonna have 2 other burst 3s. Honestly, that's honestly what I think. But if you are using her, then it's gonna be nice, right? The reload speed, lowering the ammo capacity, so you're gonna basically be spamming that second skill. It's gonna be very nice. Like, she might be able to put up a lot of numbers, right? Especially if she's fighting electric. No, if she's electric, I think electric beats water. I think electric units beat water. So, literally, when it comes to water characters, she might just dominate there. But should you be summoning for this character? Honestly, yes, you should. Because ANIS, again, her best partner is a character that everybody mains if you have her, and she's one of the best character. Not to mention there's other good characters in the electric class. And if they do end up dropping like element towers, I know that's a lot of the thing that everybody's, you know, kind of saying is happening now, especially with these 2 limited characters. But I think if they do drop element towers, this character is going to be a staple on that, right? But even just for your account, I think this is always going to be a nice third burst 3 option on your team when you're using Scarlet, right? But the only thing is, you should only be summoning for this character if you have electric units or main electric units, right? Not have, if you main electric units. So if one of these characters are the characters you use all the time, right? Like being, let me just filter it like this. One of these characters, if these are the characters you use all the time, then this is going to be a very good option for, you know, these characters. But besides that, there's no other reason for you to be summoning. So that's what I think about ANIS. Now, when it comes to HELM, HELM is a different story, because HELM's job is, it's a bit, I don't know. She's kind of just like how, you know, ANIS is the privity. I want to say HELM is like Dala maybe, honestly. I think she's like Dala. Let me just pull up Dala's kit. Yeah, the attack buff, and then yeah, it's literally the same thing, basically. She's just Dala. But the thing is, who would you use? HELM or Dala? And honestly, I think for your account, the better option is Dala because of the attack buff, right? She's giving multiple attack buffs, crit rate, and crit damage buffs. All this HELM is really doing is giving you the cooldown, which Dala is the exact same numbers too. The exact same numbers. So Dala is just a better option regardless. In terms of damage, now HELM might be able to put it, like, she might do nice damage, she might do decent damage, because one thing about this character's kit, especially, it seems like she's going to be dealing these additional damage, like a final attack as additional damage. She's going to be dealing this very consistently. 30 normal attacks in every 4 seconds. She's going to be hitting somebody with 100% of her final attack. And she is an attacker, so if you know, give her mad overload gear and stuff like that, she might be able to hit decently hard. But honestly, I don't see you using this character whatsoever. I don't think this is a character you should summon for whatsoever, unless you like HELM. Of course, if you like ANIS, if you like HELM, then summon for them. But if you don't and you care about quote-unquote meta, I don't think HELM is going to be the character for you, because again, her best feat is literally something that Dala has, and both of them are burst 2 options, right? If we were to just go off of the cooldown reduction for the burst skill and then compare everybody, like everything else in the kit, Dala's would shine more because she's increasing your attack by a lot, your crit rate, and your crit damage, right? The only thing that HELM is doing that Dala isn't is damage taken increase. But that is only to an electric code enemy, so it's, you know, very specific too. It's not really that worth. It's not really crazy in my opinion. So unfortunately, HELM did get the short end of the stick. I really don't know why you would use her. It's as simple as that. Like, you can't tell me you're gonna use her for the burst skill cooldown when Dala is just a better option, right? Dala, you get this and the attack buff. What are you really gonna use HELM for? Right? Damage taken increase for electric code enemies. Like, come on, let's be realistic. There's a character that we have already been using named Blanc who does it 40% to all enemies. What are we talking about? Right? The only thing is this is permanent basically, because it lasts for 5 seconds and it goes off every 4 seconds. So this is a permanent effect. But once that coded enemy dies, then boom. So I guess technically this skill is really good against literally electric code bosses, but that's still not enough of a reason to summon. Now, honestly, I'm a summon regardless. This is Helm we're talking about, so this is just literally off of waifu and looks. This is not based on kit, right? Helm is just why I'm summoning, and a lot of people are summoning too, but if you're talking about meta, not really worth it. So so on my free-to-play account, I own Haran, right? And that's my main DPS. I don't know if I'm going to summon for ANIS for that, for her, because actually, fun fact, my free-to-play account, my main DPSs are Isabel and Haran. Both of them are electric. So literally getting, ANIS for that 3rd burst 3 option, would work. But the only thing is I have Noir as well. But in a situation like that, I do think this girl is going to be very useful there. So it's really hard to say, right? But let me know what you guys think for my free-to-play account. Should I summon for ANIS on my free-to-play account that mains Haran and Isabel? Probably not, actually, because I just main those characters as of right now because those are the only characters I have. Down the line, I feel like if you're not really using Scarlet, this is not a character you need, right? Because you could run her with Guillotine too, right? And that's also a good option, but I don't think you need to have this character, or because you're running Guillotine, you need to have this character, right? It's same thing with Scarlet, but this character is just going to work very well for Scarlet. That reload speed is insane. And I do think a nice comp is going to be ANIS and Privity, but yeah. So literally, I would say summon for ANIS if you use, these electric girls, which is Haran, Sin, Guillotine, Isabel, Maiden, like as your main DPS, right? As your main DPS. And it's going to be nasty because literally Scarlet just got Mass too, who's a big buff to her. And now she's getting ANIS, who is another big buff to her. That's crazy. And this character is already the hardest hitting character in the game. So it's like, what more does she need, right? Whereas in Helm, not really much, right? Why would I use this character? She does 164% AoE damage and it doubles if they're electric code. Or I guess it just doubles 2 electric code enemies. And then the damage taken is pretty nice for electric code. But it's like, that's really only going to matter for the boss, right? Literally, that's only going to matter for the boss. And I don't think I need to summon for... I'm going to summon for her on obviously my main account, but like a general player should not be summoning for this character just to have a 25% damage taken buff to an electric boss. Remember, these are all level 10 skills as well. So yours is not going to be 25, 26. Yours is probably going to be less, like maybe 21, 20%. And same as your cooldown, it's going to be less, right? So just better value. If you have Dollar, no reason for Helm. She's literally just a worse Dollar. But ANIS, pretty good option. And she's the first ever supporter burst 3, so she's very unique, right? I mean, SSR-wise, of course, right? If we go like this, she's literally the first ever burst 3 supporter, so... very, very insane. Very, very nice character. You guys let me know what you think. Like I said again, summon for this character, skip this character. It's not by force. She's not a must-have, but I would think this is a very good character. Very nice pickup if you're reigning Scarlet, right? But you guys let me know what you think. It's your boy Zxous. I'll see you guys next one. I'm out. Peace.